Welcome, case managers, to another certification class. Topic for this class is which audit is best, selecting the correct audit. It's extremely important that we know what our job is. We all know what's going on in the industry, and we have to provide proper and correct information and education to our clients. Now, what is a client? A client could be a homeowner that's on time with their mortgage, behind in payments, in a loan modification, maybe already lost their home, someone doing a short sale, or a loan modification. They're going to use the audit for the loan modification and for attorneys. So we have a wide range of clients for this product. We're going to focus on more of the homeowner and what status they are. You need to treat your clients with the utmost respect. First, our role is to educate them about the industry, what's going on. Most of them have an idea, and when they go to our website, they have a better idea. You, as a case manager, should spend some time to understand what's going on in the industry. Are you going to our website, reading the updates, looking at the video links, checking maybe some of these case studies? Do you really know what's going on? Are you up to date? Things change pretty quickly. Next, you need to educate about our audits. They need that education, and we're going to talk about a few different audits in this class. No legal advice or promises, no guarantees. You are not an attorney. You can't give them any promises. You can't say they're going to get a principal reduction. You can't say they're going to get free and clear. We really don't know. Our job, when they ask, is to provide the evidence, and that evidence can be used by themselves, or maybe a private company, or an attorney. We only go as far as the audit. And at that point, we have to remain distant, because they could come back to audit pros for an additional affidavit if needed, or to be an expert witness. Clients call us all the time and they say, well, did you speak to our attorney? What's going on? No, we don't. That's attorney-client privilege. We can't do that, but the attorney can call us if they have questions about the audit. But everything after we're done is pretty much finished. So you want to make sure your clients are directed to the next step, not coming back to us, unless they need an explanation, of course. Now, collect the paperwork and payment. It's best to have as much paperwork as possible. We have a training session just on this. If something is left out, we can't audit it. Can we do an audit with no paperwork? We actually can. But it's not going to be the best audit. It's not going to even be that good. But there are ways that we can do it without paperwork. The more they give us, the better it's going to be. And obviously, you want to get paid for your work, so that's why a payment is needed. We do not process a file until the payment has cleared. A check is usually 2 business days. Even a money order or cashier's check takes 2 business days when depositing it into a business account. Okay, now let's talk about which is the correct audit for your client. And we're going to cover 4 different audits: the basic forensic audit, the basic securitization audit, the expanded audit with affidavit, and a level 3 audit. Let's start off with the basic forensic audit. Now, it's basic, and there's a certain reason why people get this. And it analyzes the mortgage, everything from the time of the application, that day one, to the closing. Now, I want to stress how important this application is if you can get it, because it tells us the story. Was that homeowner or borrower in this case a W-2 wage earner with a salary, but for some reason they went stated income or a no-doc loan? And that was done usually to get a home that they really couldn't afford. They didn't use the income, so obviously that wasn't one of the items that they underwrote when they got this loan. Because let's say they wanted a $250,000 house and only can afford $200,000. Well, sometimes loan officers would say, or mortgage brokers, whatever, depending state you're in, they would say, well, you know what, if we go stated income, we can get you that house. And I have a loan program with a lower rate the first 2 years, and maybe you can refinance later, or you may get a raise at your job, so you can afford it. And they got misguided, and the market changed. They couldn't refinance anymore because the prices of the homes dropped. So you have to learn what we do. What happened in the mortgage industry? Why did we have this crisis? A lot of it was due to subprime and Alt-A loans, which we discussed in one of our other certification classes. Next, this audit's going to check RESPA, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, and TILA, Truth in Lending Act. Now, these violations are pretty common, and the RESPA and TILA were put in place to protect consumers. It almost had the opposite effect most of the time. Then we have the loan program, where they put in the right loan program. Was there predatory lending, which has something to do with being put in the right or wrong loan program? Were they taken advantage of for their lack of knowledge in the mortgage industry? You see, most homeowners really didn't understand their mortgage, and most of them never even read the paperwork. They were rushed into closing and rushed out of closing. We also have forgery. Now, you may hear the term robo-signing. Disclosures. And then there's that Form 1003, which is the loan application we talked about in item number 1. Need to have that. Now, the purpose for this audit is really only for information. We do have some attorneys that love the forensic audit, and they say they could do something with it. Years ago, they could, because it has a statute of limitation of 1 to 3 years based on the violations found in a forensic audit, which are usually the RESPA and TILA violations. So if it's a more recent loan and they found it, which they usually don't because they cleaned up their act when it came to doing the current or the newer paperwork. But in 2007, sure, when foreclosure started, it could be used because the statute of limitation was still in place. Things have changed, and they know how to stop it. Now, the statute of limitation, so you know just for your purpose, is supposed to start at time of discovery. The problem we run into is some judges think discovery is when they close the loan. Some think is when they got an audit done. You just don't know. Now, why would there be another reason for this audit? Litigation. Again, there's a statute of limitation on this, but with the right attorney and they get a jury trial, the jury's going to see and hear everything in this audit. Now, the judge may say strike it from the record. They don't want to use it. Well, you know what? Once somebody hears something, it usually sticks with them. And a lot of the people or members of the jury have friends or family members or maybe even themselves have lost the home to foreclosure or short sale or deed in lieu. So they may have a biased opinion, and that's why jury trials are so important. And if an attorney says you can't get one, well, if the audit shows some type of fraud in there, yes, that homeowner can get a jury trial, and the banks don't want to see that. So let's talk about the basic securitization audit, and that analyzes everything after closing. It's going to look at the mortgage and the note. What happened? And, you know, I was in the mortgage industry for so many years, did the mortgages, and really never thought about what happens after closing. You know, years ago, when someone got a mortgage, it would go into a vault with the note, and it would just stay there until it was paid off. And then the note was given to the homeowner, and they had a satisfaction of mortgage. That's the way it was done until the 90s, the 1990s. I don't think we have anybody here from the 1890s, but the 1990s. That's when securitization started. And that's become such a major problem. Now, the basic audit is pretty much what it is. It's basic. It checks the endorsement, the assignment, the chain of title, all this information that they need to know about. And you're going to run into a lot of issues with the endorsement and the assignment. And you want to do your homework about that. Read some of the audits. Robo-signer, which I like to call forgers, and you see forgeries here. Also, employment records. A lot of the audits from our competitors don't look at employment records of the people that are involved. We've seen people where they claim they have employment with 3 or 4 different companies. The name keeps coming up over and over again, and then we search for depositions, whatever we may find, or recommend that we request discovery for that homeowner to do with their attorney. Then you have MERS, Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems. We have to check if it's been registered with MERS, and again in discovery we're going to ask for the MERS milestone report, or the homeowner will. Notaries. Is that notary who they say they are? We have to do a background check on the notary. We've seen some notaries that have expired, or they had expiration dates of 20 years, which is really impossible. Or on one page, the notary is there, and then the next page, that notary is the vice president of the bank. So these are little details we have to pay attention to. When we deliver an audit to a homeowner, and it's a securitization audit, it's emailed as attachments, and there are a number of attachments. There's a section in the email called main points, and these main points are a summary of what was found, which is great because it really breaks it down. They can look at the email right there as soon as they get it and they know what they've got. Then the audit and the report and everything that's included is your evidence. So in the audit with the main points, it's addressing the audit, and then there's recommendations, what the homeowner or the attorney should ask for from the servicer, what they need to do. Now, an audit consists of different parts. You have what they call the report. In your attachment, you'll see the letters SA, and SA is the report. Then there'll be a PSA, which is a pooling and servicing agreement, and a prospectus. Now, once in a while, you're going to see there's no PSA. Sometimes the PSA is included in the prospectus, so you have to look for it there. Then they may get some depositions or some case studies attached as well. And there are also, and that's pretty much it for this audit. I'm going to go back to another email they're going to get in the next audit. Now, who is this for? What's the purpose? Well, it's for people that want information. Or maybe they want to do a loan mod or a workout program. They're not going to court with this. So this is something they're not going to use in court. Can they file a motion with this? Sure they can, because they're not handing it over as evidence, but they're getting the information they need to file a motion or a counterclaim. But I really wouldn't recommend this audit for that. Some people, that's all the money they have. They don't have any option at this time. Then we have the expanded securitization audit. This is our bestseller, and this will work with everybody. If there's any questions or doubts you may have, this is the audit. It covers you in every single area. Now, it includes everything in the basic audit, everything there. And in addition, it has more information like an affidavit from the auditor that's under oath, and it pretty much says he can be fined or imprisoned if it's not true and factual. That's a very strong statement, and that's at the bottom, or near the end rather, of the audit. The affidavit. And this affidavit can be 8 to 20 pages. Sometimes we include an article from the Wall Street Journal. In fact, most of the time it's there with some other information that we have that pertains to their typical case. It includes 1 hour of consulting, whether it's with the homeowner or the attorney. And that consulting can be with any of the staff here in our office in Orlando or with the auditor. It's limited to a total of 1 hour. After that, we'll have to discuss fees with them because that's all they should need. There's not a whole lot to it if they have the affidavit. It's explained there, but sometimes attorneys need some additional advice, or they may be new at doing this because there are things in our affidavit and audit that are not in others, our competitors. They don't have it. We address a lot of issues. And you know, it's almost unfair to call it a securitization audit because it does a lot more than that. But that's been the industry name. So it's like Coke and Pepsi, and people ask for a Coke, but they're getting Pepsi. That's what this is. I guess that's the best way I could describe that. Deeper research. We're talking about a lot deeper research. We're going to go and find things and spend more time on this audit. And they do take time. You know, an audit really of any kind, we'd like to have 3 weeks. Do people want it sooner? Yes. But when we rush an audit, it does affect the quality. And with this audit, we want to do a lot of research. We may find something that comes up, and that leads to additional research. We may have an audit where the securitization is hidden. It's not listed anywhere. We have to research it, and we do that through matching points. So you know the basic and the expanded use matching points, a minimum of 17 points. Now, within those points, there are additional points. We break it down like subpoints. So you may have up to 24 points. But on the audit, we're addressing 17 areas because we have to establish that note. Where is it at? Where's the trust? So you have to look at the loan origination date, the loan size, the type of program, the lender. And these are just a few of the things that we're looking at. and we can see what type of pools of loans, which are bundles, were purchased in that time frame, that loan size, that lender, the loan program. There's a lot of different categories, and they're mentioned in that audit. Your typical competitor does 10 points. Bloomberg, when that was around, it's no longer here, the Bloomberg terminal, 10 points. So we're getting a more definitive hit. Plus, this audit also tracks the history. A lot of audits just say where it's at now. But how about where it went from the beginning to where it is now? You know, there are a lot of problems that happened during that time. And that's why it's important to check what happened. Dig deeper, that's the deeper research. And this audit is best for someone that has a motion, a hearing, a client that is standing strong. They want to keep the home. It's not just to suspend the foreclosure. And really, you can't go wrong with this audit. It's the best product that we have. Now, another product we have is a level 3 audit. Now, this audit is not one of our popular products. It's available, and I'll tell you the pros and cons when we're done with this slide. It analyzes the mortgage and the note. It's almost like a forensic summary and the note in itself. So it does both. It also has a stop sale feature. So if you have a client that has a sale coming up within 1 to 3 weeks, this audit would be good for that. It does stop the sale. As I said, it includes the forensic summary, securitization search, and a timeline. It goes through the audit with a timeline. So if they're in foreclosure, because it's best for people that have a sale date, it'll look at when all the documents were filed, the court documents, any lender notifications, and it will address it. If they find something wrong, it'll point out some of the issues. The affidavit is written, and this is in a legal format, and it's usually done upon request. They won't get the affidavit automatically with the audit. It's designed and written for a specific need. And again, this is for people that need to stop a sale. That's the best way to put it. You know, the expanded audit with affidavits for everybody, even if they lost their home. This is specific. Now, the pros and cons. The pros, we'll start off with the good side. It has one of the best expert witnesses in the country that's doing this audit. The guy is phenomenal. The audit itself is not as good as the expanded. So you have to weigh the differences. If they want a great expert witness and they know they need it and they have to stop a sale, this is the way to go. But if they want deeper research, a much better looking and more professional, as well as more information, a lot more information, they want the expanded. So we don't sell this product a whole lot, but it is available. This is our certification class. It's time for you to study. Now, when I talk about study, I don't mean just what you've seen on this training class about the industry. A lot of it's on our website, but look around the internet. The more professional you sound, the more business you're going to get. If you're speaking to an attorney, say the basic information. Your goal is to get a 3-way call with me when we're talking to attorneys. So make sure you follow those guidelines. You don't want to really try and close the attorney yourself, because I don't know what level you're at, and there's also this additional information I know about the industry. I've been in this industry since 1992. Know quite a bit about it. So let me help you with that point. I speak to attorneys almost on a daily basis, and they have questions. And the biggest thing is they've never seen an audit like ours. They're used to seeing the junk that's out there, which is almost all the audits. When they see our audit, it makes more sense. And that's a big part of it, and they have to understand that. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Get to studying, become an expert in your field. Thanks so much.